What's up, everyone? I'm looking at a new place for gold. I have heard that there are little flakes here. It's obviously nothing rich, or else it'd be more popular than it is today, but we're gonna give it a go. So we've got a nice low flow of water here. It's fall and the water is a nice clear. I've got some good little spots here for setting up the sluice if I get to that point. I've also got a contrast of gravel coming to bedrock. So we know the bedrock goes from over here all the way across to here. And maybe we'll test around in these different areas, avoiding the vegetation, and see if we can spot some color. We've got a little geo sluice here, some different digging tools, and of course, some knee pads, because sometimes it gets ornery. Some interesting character to the smooth bedrock, but it does have some little cracks and folds and little pockets of material at various places. Not sure where to start yet, but we'll give it a go. So I'm gonna work this bedrock section right here where I have a little bit of stray material. This should give me a very good indication of if there's some okay gold here. I'm not expecting any nuggets. I try to be as transparent as possible and as real as possible at creeks there is. I don't salt my pans. I don't add anything to them. What I get is what I get on the spot. So if I get nothing or minimal, I show you. Because not every prospecting trip is gonna be a success. We got a pan of sample material. I could scrape it a little better, but if I see something in this, maybe I'll scrape it better more. Right here with the deep bedrock gives me a perfect spot for panning. Might help if I had better footing. So we're gonna get the materials all wet. And these big smooth rocks that were in that crevice, we're just gonna toss the big ones away that are obvious. We don't need them knocking around our gold. In the beginning, if you have clay, sometimes these bigger rocks will act like a ball mill. It helps break up the clay for you. So use your judgment when dealing with rocks. Sometimes the rocks can be your favor in a clay-rich area. I'm seeing a lot of muddy organics coming off the top. I don't have any clay balls, so we'll get rid of some more of these. So I have one itty bitty little sand piece type piece of gold and a lead fishing weight. Lead fishing weight tells me I'm on the right track. I kept this. So if I kept the lead fishing weight, odds are I kept my gold. But that's it. One little sand micro. I am not sure if that's worth it. So I worked this spot. I got one little fishing weight piece of lead and one micro little piece of gold. I'm gonna scrape this out a little bit better, see if maybe I just didn't quite scrape down to the better gold and I only scraped the surface. So I'm gonna see if that's the case. Do one more test pan. I'm not gonna change anything. I still got that one piece in here plus that lead weight. I'm gonna add some more material from this crevice and see how it goes from there. I'm getting to some sticky clay now. Maybe that's what I needed to do, was get down here further. Already, I'm seeing some stuck cobbles in this little crack of the bedrock. It's pretty well washed out over here, but there's a good bit of material right here. It runs on up. We got these rooted plants here. We're gonna leave those as is and not disturb them. We're definitely gonna check around these various bedrock covered gravels. There might be a straggler of gold in here. I can smell the sulfur coming out of the rocks now. So I'm into some old fresh stuff with maybe some rotten vegetation in it. I keep looking at the sides to see if I'm tracking any little bits. I accidentally got some water in the hole. And the problem is, when you get water in the crevices, your gold will likely just drop and plummet. So your scraping methods are gonna be really lousy and it's gonna fall to the bottom. If it's dry, you have a chance at working it up and catching it, but when it gets wet, gold just drops. Now, way upstream on this tributary in Oregon, there's actually some gold claims, and some good gold has been found upstream of here. All right, I could scrape a lot more of this, but I'm gonna see if I got one more little flower piece out of this muddy water. Once again, I just gotta work it. Now I did encounter some clay, so I'm gonna be a little more cautious on what I toss out. Sometimes the clay will act like a soft barrier. And the gold, being as dense as it is, will get pounded by the top rocks that roll over the clay and kind of push it, indent it, kind of like when you push your finger into Play-Doh. And it'll help to leave the gold there. Sometimes. Well, I certainly didn't have much materials. I got another lead ball. So the only thing I got from that second scraping was one more lead ball, which looks like a shot. And I still have that one tiny micro piece. Time to move. So I worked some bedrock downstream. Didn't do all that well. It was okay, so, but I'm gonna see if this gravel bar, when the water's higher, the banks rise each side, so the water will stay within these perimeter walls. I have a sluice. I can work some volume. I have the classifier. Let's do a test of the flood gold and see if it's any good. So I'm just eyeballing around here, trying to imagine when the water comes up where the lines in this gravel bar go. You can kind of tell by the amount of plant foliage inside of the bend where the waters rise most typically. So the most common lines of layering will be the most washed out spots. And I hear a frog. Well, hello, frog. So I don't know where the frog is. So reading the inside bend of this river, you can tell by the amount of vegetation and sort of the size of the cobbles where the water most traditionally flows seasonally. Obviously, with the way the banks are, where you can see old trees have fallen out or plants have been ripped up or roots have been eroded away on the side, there have been floods where this fills up this whole gully. Different seasons are your high spots. But you can see on this moss, on this bedrock over here, the traditional levels of where the current is either sheltered it or where it goes up to, keeping the moss from growing in those spots. So if you follow those lines of level here, it puts us right about here as the top line. So we're gonna take a sample from this light gravel right here. And remember, we're gonna refill our holes. We're gonna try and leave no trace detectable. This top material is very, very soft. The compaction of it, you can tell it was fresh washed in either last couple of seasons. It doesn't look like it's been disturbed by anyone else. And I should be classifying this, but we're doing a sample pan. We're just seeing if on this top 6 inches or so, is there flood gold redeposited. I know in the channel, in the middle of the river, if I go down deeper, there's gold. But I don't have the access to the middle of the river to get down there right now. So we gotta sample the banks. There's our sample. I'll pan this down here. Hopefully there's something in here. All right, still see those 2 pieces of lead. I did get one more piece. It's not big by any stretch. Not big at all, but it was easier digging. And if I classified enough, that means I could get a few. This is definitely not a paying spot, by no means. Oh, I'll get a close up here for you. So, there's our lead balls. There's our 2 micro pieces from the first crevice and 1 from this flood layer. Not really that incredible, but we're gonna try and get what we can out of this. A little bit of, we'll probably work this area here with a transition of large cobbles and this dirt where I got 1 flake out of it, and see if we can get some more. What'd be cool is if this rock were bedrock and I discovered I wound up on it. Apparently I've hit a new clay layer, and it seems like a really good sign that I've hit a bottom of something underneath this gravel. Will it yield to more gold? I don't know till we test the stuff. I'm gonna take a pan of this material. I've already dumped my lead and concentrates in here. We didn't have enough to really go cleaning it. But I'm curious if there's gold laying on this clay. So yeah, there's definitely gold. I've got a more charactered, I've got 3 pieces. The other 3 are in the bucket. So that makes it 6 total little pieces. It's not much, but hey, you can't complain when it comes to getting any gold. Any gold is good gold. I see a few more micros in there, super, super small ones. So I'm wondering if that bucket's gonna be any good. We'll see. I scraped up some of that bedrock before, put it in the classifier, and then worked it. And then my curiosity got the best of me. I needed to sample it. Now I know I'm onto something. So behind this rock is where I'm working. And so I wanted to check this gravel out. It seemed the right texture, the right consistency per the inside bend. And then as I was getting down here, I came across this clay layer sandwiched right between the 2 rocks, and doing 1 sample pan of material, mostly from this side of what I scraped out, I got 3 little colors. Now I've worked this material, which, if you ever see one of these scoops, it's about the size of the hole so far, which isn't very much, but we're gonna keep working this for 5 gallons, do a cleanup of the geosluice, and then see what happens. So I didn't quite fill the bucket all the way. I was going to do a little bit more, but curiosity has the best of me. Let's see how the sluice is running. You see the flow's a little sideways. And that creates a buildup here. I need to level it out more. The end riffle ends up getting a little bit of a buildup because of the exit of water. So we're just gonna open these up a little bit more to allow the water escape. And that looks pretty good. I definitely could use more water in this sluice. But to get more water, I need to go out there or block off more. We'll just feed it slow and watch. Materials are moving decently, except we're at the end. So I'll have to just make sure I keep clearing that end. So I'm watching these lead traps and I'm not seeing anything really stand out as gold yet. Looks like a little piece right there. Possibly right there. I'm pretty sure that's a little piece of gold right there. I'm not sure if that's just a yellow rock up there, but we'll have to work some more material. Our bucket, about 3 gallons of 1/4 inch minus classified. The sluice has ran and is doing pretty well. That's not gold, that little light rock. It's one of those deceivers. I looked at it twice. It's not gold. But look at the black sand buildup in the front. We got some lighter materials towards the end, so when you see that piece of lead that we had dropped inside of that we'd panned up from the other crevice, is sitting right there in the second one. Once it lost its momentum of rolling, it dropped right into the second riffle, which tells me I have the slope and everything set up pretty good. Overall, I think this thing's done pretty well. So we've let the sluice run its course for a period of time, let it clean out more of the sands and lightweights out of the sluice. This is going to be our only cleanup sample to see if this place is worthy of coming back to again. It's such a nice lightweight sluice. The only problem is it's so lightweight you got to weigh it down with the rocks sometimes. I sort of like to tilt it at an angle when I'm cleaning it out so that the water will rush through and push it to the next riffle as I feed the lightweight a bit of water. All clean. Now I don't expect much from this, but we will see what we have. So I like to start with swirling the pan a bit, get the materials all mixed up. I bring them to the corner with the side to side. What that does is center it. And then when I do a bounce like this in a combination, I do a bounce and a side. One centers it, one settles it in the front. And when you're panning in current, run your tail off on the downstream side. If you go upstream, you're gonna have water pushing your material back and circling it around. I like to bring it back shallow. That way the gold can get to the bottom and slide and ride the bottom back to that front. I always try to bring my riffles back clean every time I bring it back to settle. I see those 2 pieces of lead still in there. Excuse me for the sniffles if you're hearing those. I am just getting over a cold. So we've managed to keep those 2 pieces of lead, which means whatever gold we have in here, we should still have. We got a lot of heavy black sands. Oh, that's a really cool piece. Okay. All right. So did we get gold? Yes, we got gold. Did we get a lot? No. So, from a couple sample pans and 3 gallons of classified materials, that's the little bit of gold we got. There's a couple others that keep wandering back that are really squished flat, but we've got roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 colors. 13 colors out of 3 gallons. So there you have it. We got 13 colors on a creek that's known for gold, but further downstream than they worked up higher. And loads of bedrock around, but still not very good. I don't know whether that's if it's been worked or if it just isn't the right spots for the migration of gold. But what? We got some gold today. It's not a lot. Will it pay for the fuel to get here? Absolutely not. Even with gold at over $4,000 an ounce right now. But I had fun doing it. A question I had has been answered. Is there gold down this low? Is it easy enough to get? Yes, but it's not a lot. So till next time, may your pans be golden and you have a good morning, day or night, whatever it is, wherever you are.